most of what I'm going to talk about today applies to all of us as consumers, so that's not a problem. And I'm happy to share this with you, and I hope it'll be helpful information to you. Before I do that, let me talk about a couple of the things I generally talk about with seniors, because we all have parents, grandparents, or friends or loved ones who are seniors. So just to make sure that you know of some resources available. Much like what the county health department does and county health departments around the state, there are lots of good free resources that have expert advice and information for seniors. In particular, this handout for the claim program that I gave you is a program that is a nonprofit. It's based out of Columbia, and it is funded 100% by government funds, Medicare and my department. There's no insurance company, drug company, or any other private industry money that goes into the claim program. This is a service that we pay them to give free, unbiased counseling to seniors with Medicare questions. That's all they do. So if you've ever tried to help someone walk through a Medicare Part D array of plans that are available to them, and the medications they cover, and the pharmacies that participate, and the prices that they charge, it's a very complex thing, and it's hard to do. It can be a good service if used correctly, but it can be hard to make all those decisions and figure all those things out. So people at the claim program can help seniors with those issues with Medicare. And it's not just Part D. It's standard original Medicare, as we call it, Advantage plans, Medicare Supplement, which is the Medigap insurance that helps pay deductibles. So lots of different things to do with Medicare. So please keep this handy and pass it on to anyone of that age group or who's on Medicare who may be able to use this. And there are plenty more where these came from, so you can call this 800 number if you need more of these or any type of literature or other information. It's a great service. They're available by phone and also by appointment. They can do one-on-one counseling, and again, it's free and it's confidential. So just keep that in mind. It's a real good resource. And then the insurance highlights for seniors. This is a handout. I don't know if you all got this in the back, but this is a real basic summary of some of the things that that I find and we find seniors are most likely to run up against in terms of sales pitches for insurance products. You'll see lots and lots of seniors being pitched life insurance, annuities, long-term care, being invited to free lunch and free meal seminars, reverse mortgages. So these are some very, very basic brief highlights. This is not an education in these types of insurance and financial products by any means, but just some highlights that people can pass along, and then they can always call us if they have more questions about these things. Real quick about my department, you'll notice on this identity theft sheet, this has my department's logo up at the top, and I think we officially have the longest name in state government. Holly did really well reading it, by the way, and it did not take up that much of the presentation. A lot of times it takes up a long time to read that whole name. But at the bottom of the sheet, you'll see Insurance Consumer Hotline and an 800 number and our website. And I want everybody to keep this number handy and remember that there is a Department of Insurance, and it is here in part to accept consumer complaints. So if you have a complaint against your insurance company about an unfair claim, an unsatisfactory claim, a denial that was not handled properly or that was improperly denied, you can get in touch with us and file a complaint, and we can get with your insurance company and try to work that out. And if you are indeed entitled to something more than what you got, and you're entitled to that under your policy, we can make sure that you get that. It's our job to make sure that insurance companies are honoring their policies with consumers. And just to give you some examples, in 2009, we got about $14 million back for consumers who had filed complaints with us about claims denials. And this could be, I was in a wreck and they didn't cover my damage, something as simple as that, to my husband died and the life insurance company wouldn't give me his annuity or wouldn't give me his death benefit. Or we had an elderly gentleman recently who was away from home and had a heart attack and went to the emergency room and had emergency heart surgery, and he was denied on his claim when he submitted it to insurance because they said it was not truly an emergency. So we got involved and got the necessary documentation from the hospital and elsewhere and got his claim paid, and it was $50,000 or $60,000. So it was a big, big deal. So just to let you know that there is a service available for consumers on insurance issues, and if you get denied on a claim or you don't get the offer that you think that you're due, that's not the end of the road. Don't just give up and think there's nothing that can be done about it because your insurance company has won. You can get in touch with us and we can help you. And for sure, this is a minority of the claims. Most are handled properly. But for those that aren't, a lot of times we can help. So I want you to keep us in mind for that. Okay, let's talk about identity theft. And as I said, this is a topic that is relevant to all ages, and in fact, if anything, more relevant to folks who are younger. Seniors are not in the crosshairs of identity thieves the way that they are in the crosshairs of so many other types of scammers, telemarketing scammers, door-to-door construction guys, and so many others. Identity theft actually strikes younger folks who are in their prime buying and credit using years, so to speak, people between the ages of 25 and 50. We're the most active in terms of using credit. We spend more on our credit cards, we're taking out more mortgages, and those sorts of things than people who are seniors. So in this case, identity theft is more relevant to those middle generations. So a couple of definitions I want to share with you. When you look at identity theft, there are a couple different types. There's what we call new account fraud, and there's existing account fraud. Now, to tell you what those are, new account fraud is when someone takes your personal information and goes out and opens up a new account in your name without you knowing about it. So that's new account fraud. And then there's existing account fraud, which is where someone takes, as it sounds like, one of your existing accounts, credit card, bank account, takes those numbers and goes out and commits fraud in your name using an existing account. So keep those in mind as we talk about prevention techniques, how to detect identity theft, and what to do about it. All of those things are a little bit different based on whether it's new account fraud or existing account fraud. So let's talk first of all about prevention and what you can do to prevent identity theft. Now, I like to think of this as just about any other problem, whether that's a health issue or a fire in your home or anything else. There's so much you can do to prevent it, but beyond that, none of us is bulletproof. And so you have to be watching for the signs of it. For example, in your house, you have a smoke detector. Even though you're careful and you try to prevent fires, you know it could still happen, so you have a smoke detector. And then you also have an escape plan, what to do if it happens to you. Same thing with identity theft. Do what you can to prevent, do what you can to detect, and then know what to do if it happens to you. So let's talk first about prevention. I have several bullets here. This is not a comprehensive list. These are just some basics. Probably a lot of this is not new to you, and there are probably other ideas that you can think of for prevention. The first bullet is a big one, and this is the way to avoid what we call phishing scams. Has anybody heard of a phishing scam? You know what I'm talking about? A phishing scam is when someone contacts you and pretends to be somebody else. They might pretend to be from your bank. They might pretend to be from the IRS. They might pretend to be from the county health department. There could be all kinds of ruses and scenarios that they use. But they'll say, there's a problem with your account, or we're having this X, Y, and Z problem with you. We need you to just confirm some personal information for us, and then we'll take care of this. And so it might be your bank account is frozen. We just need you to give us your account number and your PIN, and we'll straighten it all out for you. Well, that's just a scam. People don't call from banks or from the IRS or county health departments asking for Social Security numbers. So when the first bullet is, don't give out your personal information like Social Security number and account numbers to anyone who has contacted you, because you simply don't know who they are. Even though they may say they're X, Y, or Z person, you don't know that for sure. You only want to give out that information when you initiate the contact. So it's no problem to give out your personal information over the phone or over the internet or in an email or through the mail, but that's if you have initiated the contact. So I'm not saying the method of transmission is not important. What's important is who initiated the contact.